Welcome to the Messy Success Podcast, where we are shining a light on being successful in an unconventional way. My name is Tracy French, and I am your host. I am a mom, wife, real estate agent, real estate investor, and real estate team leader. I'm joined by my friend and co-host, Jim Hill. We discuss how success in life doesn't always have to look the same, and we are here to prove that to you. Let's get started.
That was fancy.
Right?
That is fancy.
Like the sun was rising behind me. Birds were chirping.
I love it.
Welcome
to the, I always wonder, should I say welcome to the show? Welcome to the podcast?
Oh, it's
welcome,
a show.
It's kind of
Welcome to my
Podcast
world.
Show. World.
Yes.
And I'm Jim, one of the friends.
Yeah. We have today. Oh, go ahead.
I'm still gonna work on that part.
I love that she's talking more than anyone ever has already.
Same.
This is going to be great. For those of you that live under a rock or may not be from here or, whatever, this is Stephan Van Treese.
Yes, how's everyone doing?
And his beautiful wife, Lara Van Treese.
Hello.
So, obviously, we know Stephan as basketball. I have a couple of really fun questions for you, too, that someone sent me.
I'm excited.
And if you are anyone who follows anything fitness on Instagram or social media, you have definitely had this beautiful woman grace your newsfeed at some point.
You may have had a good meal prepared by her.
Oh,
A little
yeah.
bit of everything.
So that's funny because that's how we met.
Yes.
I don't know if you know. I mean, I know that's that's how we met. But Miss Anderson, Danielle. Wait, no. She was married to Derek.
I have
and
no
now
idea.
Ashley.
Ashley.
Yeah.
Ashley. Yes.
Danielle, Ashley, totally close. You were almost there.
She's not going to watch this, so it's fine. But anywho, she posted at one point her food that you had made, and I was like, oh my gosh, that food looks so good. And then I reached out, and you made my food off and on. This is funny. How many times did you cook food for me that I never picked up and it sat in your refrigerator?
And I got to eat it.
And you got to eat it. That happened. I was the worst.
You're not the only one.
Okay. That
Surprisingly.
at least I paid for it.
Oh,
Thank you.
everyone paid.
Like at that point, like if you don't want to come get your food, that's fine. Anyways, so that's how we met.
Mm-hmm.
You have been in the fitness industry. How long though? Because
Probably what? Like officially, probably 8 years.
okay, and then let me before I
It's 8 years
Yeah.
longer than me.
Yeah.
I guess let me go back to my notes so that I can. I want to say before we get into how you met and all of that good stuff.
Oh.
So I Googled you because I Google to get information. So
Ooh.
you know what? I also found that it's funny when I Google, you're an athlete, and it always has their height and their weight.
I knew this was coming.
Why? Well, I'm just wondering, you never why do they feel like that height and the weight is necessary to even mention? Like you don't see that with women. It's only men.
But because they're always sizing each other up.
I found multiple heights though. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm not 6'11".
okay, because that's what it said 6'9", and then I saw one that said 6'11",
That's a big difference.
And
If he was
especially-
6'11", I'd hope he'd be in the league.
and you were 245 pounds.
I'm
We
more
wouldn't be
weight
sitting
than
here right
that
now.
Currently.
You are actually that wasn't on the recording. Indianapolis, Indiana.
Yep.
Lawrence North High School.
Yes.
You then, of course,
This is like Zillow. It's semi-accurate at times.
right, exactly.
So what's your estimate?
So I got kind of confused. So maybe did you start at U of L or did you start somewhere else? You probably know this if you follow
I'm gonna let him
sports
answer
more
the
than I
question.
do.
So, yeah, I've actually, my whole career was at U of L from 09 to 14. There was a little gray area where I was off the team for 2 weeks, and I was trying to figure out if I wanted to make go to another team, and I ended up coming back.
Okay. That's what I didn't know that, and that's where I almost got confused. So it says you played 123 games for U of L. Of course, Final Four, part of the Final Four team in 2012.
2 times. Yep, Final Four.
Really?
You didn't know
I
that?
meant, well, I,
No, 13. You got to add 13s as well.
oh, yeah. So that was next. National Championship 2013.
And it happened.
And
it's
that's
real.
what we were going to say.
That's what we're going to say.
That's why I meant to tell you to wear the ring to prove
Next
it freaking
time,
happened.
I'll come on again.
Okay. It totally happened. So
Come on, Indianapolis. Don't screw your hometown boy. Get it right. 2013 happened. Michigan knows. Sorry, I diverted the conversation.
I'm like, what is happening right now?
Got a little of that anger out.
Okay, you
I'm not wrong.
after graduation played professional basketball in Japan
Yep.
and returned here. You were cooking. I think you were cooking my food.
I was back and forth.
Yes.
So the first year he played there, I was there for
6 months.
6 months,
Second year, 3 months.
3 months.
And the last year,
Dwindled a little bit.
2 weeks.
But not on purpose. I was trying to keep my business, and it's hard to live across the country and
Right.
train people.
You mean across the world?
Sorry.
Across
Yes.
the world.
Across
I
the
didn't
world.
catch that.
Me either.
I'm right there with you.
13 hour time difference.
Slight difference.
Yeah, when you're living there.
But and in that time we weren't engaged. Well, we got engaged your second year. You're better at this.
she's
stuff than I am.
really good at remembering things.
So like, I didn't want to give up my business yet because I didn't know if he was going to play for 10 more years or if he
Right.
was going to play one more year and then I'd come home and I wouldn't have a job.
So
Which is
Before-
what happened, so.
I want to know, when did you were at U of L? Were you in college too?
Correct. It was my last year.
And so tell us how you met.
It
Go
sounds
ahead,
really
Laura.
bad because I sound like such a groupie.
It's okay.
Because I didn't even know he existed.
Because she's a Duke fan.
I am.
Oh my God, I grew up in Durham,
Look at that.
but I
Anyways.
don't like Duke.
I mean, I was a U of L fan, but I was a big Duke fan, and the whole time we were at U of L at the same time, never I'm sure we crossed paths. It's foggy times back then, but yeah. And then 2013, after the championship, this was pre DMs on Instagram.
Oh, you met after.
That's why I said I sound like a groupie because I'm like, oh, how convenient.
No,
You won a national
that
championship,
is
and here
not.
I am, like.
Oh,
No, we started
Lord.
dating after. We actually met before I won it.
That's absolutely not true.
I don't
We
know.
got a time frame messed up. We gotta figure
We need to figure this out.
No,
So-
because I remember
No, that's right. She's
I
right.
watched the game, but I just wasn't that invested because I was like, cool, it's my school, it's my hometown, but like it's not Duke. But I'm still gonna watch.
I guess I
Oh
should say
my
I started
gosh.
following her during that time.
Yeah.
And then I was being I'm not allowed to cuss on this.
Yes.
So I was being a smart ass pretty much.
Mhm.
And
That's not cussing.
I'm
I
just
was
trying
like,
to
where's
be,
he gonna go with this?
But I would say little things on her comments and
That's what I said, pre-DM. So he would
and-
like go back on old pictures and like comment
No,
on
even
stuff.
on like her current photo and just say random funny things, just being a goofy guy like I can be sometimes. And I didn't expect her to actually follow me back, and here we are.
It was funny though because my dad was like, no athletes because he played basketball at UL or he was on the team. Kind of believe.
I didn't know that.
He
Yeah,
played
and
back
his
in
number was
Crum.
44. Crazy enough.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Small world.
It was meant
Wow.
to be.
Yeah, so my dad was like, no basketball players. And I was like, yeah, no, I don't want one of those either. Because, I mean,
One
let's
of
be real.
those.
They don't have the best record for dating on campus. And I'm like, nah, I don't have time for this.
I
And
don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
But he was persistent. So I finally was like, all right, fine.
and I proved her wrong.
He did.
Aw.
You know, that's
Here we are.
impressive. Like pre-DMs, like putting it out there for all the world to see the comments there in the pic. Like that's
Well, I actually
talk about shooting your shot, dude.
put
I
my-
mean-
I put my number on one of the old photos, and I was like, "You got to delete this now." Like
Oh, dang.
I was trying.
Well, it was funny because at the time did I just compete in that bikini competition? And so like, you're eating nothing but like fish and broccoli and asparagus. And he's like going to Comfy Cow and like getting these big sundaes and like tagging me in it. And I'm like, this asshole. Like I'm
While
over
you
here
all were
starved
dating,
Before.
or you were
Listen,
tagging her before you were.
I
Dang.
hadn't even met him yet. And
That's
I was like,
brave.
yeah. That's what I was like, who does this guy think he is? Like,
Ain't no shame in my game. You know?
2013 national champion. That's what I can
Yeah.
do that.
yeah.
That is
maybe
so
that's what maybe
funny.
that's what it was. He was just feeling himself a little bit for the next year.
Hey, confidence is a good thing.
That's
I
hilarious.
mean, it worked.
So when did you finally
Meet.
give in?
We met at Sully's.
Fourth
Oh,
Street.
Sully's.
Good
Back
old
in the
Sully's.
Back in the day.
We just met there that night, and that's
He
the
was like-
same night I got her number.
It was
via
it was a
Instagram.
long line to get in. He's like, I can get you in. I was like, oh, he's big time. Get me through the line.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Anybody that went to college back at that time knows exactly what you're talking about.
Yes.
Waiting in that line.
Sully's on a Saturday.
Mm.
It
crazy.
was not Downs.
Some event.
What's the
was it Derby weekend?
No, Thunder over Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first night we met.
He's so much better at this stuff. He can give you every anniversary, every.
That's impressive.
I'm a numbers guy.
So, let me see. This is why I'm such a mess. Like, I'm just having casual conversation and I have all of these, but I don't want to skip ahead. I totally botched your introduction that I have written down here. I did not say anything that I was supposed to say.
You know, you can do it now.
I can do it now. You have over 38,000 Instagram followers. Okay, so let's talk about that, because it's kind of like, and we're going to bounce all over the place just because we have no plan. Cool. But that is kind of, and you and I talked about this a little bit when we were training in the gym, about how you were going to make that transition. And this is huge for you too. So you come home from Japan and you get into real estate first.
So yeah, I ended up injuring my hand, and I was still working out to go play overseas. And then I decided not to because I wasn't getting the contract offers I wanted. Mm-hmm. And then I started shopping around exactly what I wanted to do. And then
crushed me, by the way. I was not ready to leave Japan.
Anyways, and then I started the process, and I got my license within 2 to 3 months, and been doing it ever since.
So did you find it, did you find it easier being, let's be honest, who you are on the beloved basketball team? Did you find it easier, or did you expect it to be easier to break into the real estate world? How was it for you?
So I take that question because I've had that question multiple times. Part of it was I had the expectation, I had an established name already here in the city, which is good, especially when you're in sales in general.
Right.
Getting in front of people, things of that nature. I thought I was going to have that because I can open up a lot of doors, but it's a matter of, actually getting the deal done. That's what it comes down to in real estate. And I found out actually not being from Louisville hurts me a little bit, in my opinion, from the years I've been doing it. And it's a relationship business. I mean, I've had friends that I became friends with in college, really good, close friends, but they will use their realtor friend that's in high school over me.
Oh.
But it's like
we all battle with that.
You guys are a high school city, so I get it.
We totally are. No, and Jim can relate to that too. Jim.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, I mean it drives me crazy. I mean, I'm not from here, and I get it. I still talk to a lot of my high school friends, but you guys.
It is different. Yeah, he's always like, "Why is the first question people ask
what
each
high
other
school
is,
did you go to?
Where'd you go to high school?"
Yeah, and I don't know why that is either.
But I mean, Louisville's a big small town. I mean, if you know someone that went to this high school, chances are you're going to know.
Right.
It's so funny
a
because
circle of people that.
I don't get the question of where I went to high school. I get the question of, so how long have you been here in Louisville?
Yeah.
And so I always answer the question. It's like, I moved here for the first time in 2004. And immediately that shuts down, which is factually true. I did move here for the first time in 2004.
They don't need to know that you moved again and left.
Yeah. But it shuts down it takes down that wall, this person is not just brand new here. So, yeah.
Well, it's the same thing as far as when people say, how long have you been in the business? Nobody wants to say, I just started 6 months ago. Yeah. And you say it a lot, and I'm sure that maybe you have done this. You will allude to the fact that you've been doing this forever.
I can't.
You can. You can.
I mean, to people that don't know me, maybe, but I mean, I pretty much put it out for the world to be like, hey, I just passed my test. I just became but it helps for me because I'm with someone that has the experience.
It does. And I always tell...
Just not with in the same way. So.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I always tell my team agents or anybody who's new in this business that the person that you are talking to on the other end of that phone or whoever, they don't know what everyone in your sphere knows. So don't tell them. Because you are very smart, you are super educated. You can, just like I was when I got in this business, I didn't know anything, but no one ever knew I didn't know anything. So we're getting off on a tangent. So back to, you got into real estate, you did it for a little while. And So 17, 18, 19. So about 3 years in.
3-ish, yeah.
And she decided she's going to join.
So yeah, I mean, 2020 hit obviously with COVID, and it was we've talked when I was about 2 years in, I was like, Lara, I really think you should potentially.
Yeah, it was a conversation that happened over a couple of years.
I mean,
yeah.
And I was like, maybe. And then I would think about it and be like, no.
Well,
because I loved my job.
My mentor, Greg Taylor, that's who got me in the business. So he essentially was like, because I said something, I was like, would you think Lara would do well? And like after meeting her, and he was like, yeah, of course she would do very well. And I told her, obviously having a flexible schedule is really big for both of us and what we want to do. And obviously you guys know being self-employed is awesome because you can create your own schedule.
Yeah.
But ultimately I knew she was going to do well after my second year. I mean, I knew she's a people person. I mean, you trained with her and she's great.
Oh, I told her when I'm like, can I say, like, you probably don't remember. I was like, you're probably going to, her getting in the business, I thought would get you to even level up even more.
And it has.
Because she's a very strong woman and just business savvy. I
love all this. We can just keep going this way.
But you are really, really good with, and I can only go, I've never had a personal relationship with you, but you are very approachable, very, I think we've even talked about this before in training. Some people, you see them online and you get this viewpoint of how you think they might be, and then you meet them in person and there's no, like, you're just very, very approachable. Like, you could immediately be friends with anyone.
You thought that from my social media?
No, not you, but some.
Oh, because most people are like, I thought you were going to be really mean. And I was like, why?
Yes, no, I didn't think that about you.
I think it's the black hair thing. I think people, like, we're always seen as the villains with the dark hair.
So many haters.
There are some people I know that are
RBF.
I do have, I'm guilty.
I was told once I had that by somebody that I was managing at the time.
Really?
Yes, and I was just like, at the moment when this person said this to me, I was like, I probably do right now, because not that I was like this power hungry, like, I'm your manager, you don't say that to me. But I was like, don't ever say that again.
Yeah.
Because it was in public in front of some other clients. And I was just like.
Public. It makes me think of that one guy. Every time I hear that word public, the comedian that says, I was drunk in public.
I don't know what comedian you're talking about.
Are you kidding me?
The tater tot guy?
What?
The tater tot guy?
Yes.
Yeah, I can't think of his
How could you not?
Wilson, or Ron.
Ron White.
Yes.
Oh.
The drunk in public. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, anyways,
I'm disappointed.
But anyways, in that moment, I probably did, because I was angry. I was arresting, But anyways,
I mean,
it's fine.
You can walk around like this all the time. That's exhausting. I mean,
he does that. He does do that all the time.
That's the cheer face.
So no,
right?
it's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
I might not have speared fingers, but I got a speared face. No, it's funny because there's this one person I know who is an influencer, and on their social media,
I called you an influencer in the intro too.
Oh, did you?
I just didn't put it. Say it out.
Here's what's interesting about this person is the person that they portray on their social media is not who they are in real life. Like, if I didn't know this person in real life, I wouldn't like them based on their social media.
So
I feel like that's a lot of social media.
It could be, but I'm talking like
who?
I'm
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Over the top bad, in my opinion.
So their social media presence is bad, or their in person? Like,
no, their in person is awesome.
It's great, and they portray to be different.
Who they are on their social media is completely, in my opinion, my viewpoint, is completely opposite of who they are in real life. And I'm just like,
see, that would be exhausting to me to like have.
I don't think they realize it.
Oh,
quite frankly.
So maybe the social media is the real person.
Could be,
and they're fake in person.
Plot twist.
Oh gosh,
just saying.
That's gonna make me lose sleep tonight. Just kidding. Anyways.
All right, we're so good.
So what's the next question, Tracy?
Yeah,
hold on. Well,
where'd we end up?
I'm all over the daggone place, y'all. I'm telling you. Okay, so.
Go to the Stephan questions that people wanted to know.
Okay, yeah, you want to go straight to that?
Dang, Lara.
Let's do it.
So one of them was, I'm supposed to ask you about Vanilla Godzilla.
My nickname from Japan is Vanilla Godzilla. So, yeah.
I was thinking ice cream because you were talking about Comfy Cow earlier, and I was like, oh, what flavor is that? And now here we go.
But yeah, just being a big guy in Japan.
Who started that?
Because you're a big old white guy.
Yeah, pretty much, yes.
And you're a monster.
So I actually had a beard and a full, like, I was in the Sons of Anarchy.
It was awful.
I had almost a man bun, everything. I mean.
Where are the pictures of this?
We do not need
I
to
have
pull
not
those
seen
up.
that.
That's glorious.
But yeah, it's just a funny name, and obviously it's catchy and it suits me. So we kept it, and then I've actually rolled it into my fantasy football teams, and also I put it on. I've had some single barrel picks for bourbon picking, and I've put some stickers on.
Okay, Vanilla Godzilla. Go ahead.
Just to add on to that story, and I know I tell this story all the time, but it's still one of my favorite stories. So like the very first time in Japan when we went to the grocery store, because we you have a translator go with you because you don't know what anything is or where you're going, and we walked in, and it was Stephan, who's 6'11" or whatever stat you want to go from, blonde haired, blue eyes. Then was his teammate TK, who's about 6'8".
Yeah,
super light skin and braids. Yeah. And then Pat, who's 6'10",
6'11".
So you stick out like a sore thumb.
Who's darker? No, all three of them. Because you got to think everyone in Japan. I mean, I was huge over there, so I'm walking behind them, and they're all walking in, and like the whole grocery store was just like the Monstars from Space Jam just walked in or something. Like they were like, "Oh my god! Like what are these things that just walked
What
in?
are they?"
And then we go to check out. This was a different time, but still, it's always the same experience. And like. Stephan's checking out, and the lady looks at me and starts speaking Japanese, and I'm like, no, I'm not. I know I might look at, I'm not though.
I always thought that you were. I told you that too. I always thought you were.
Well, it was funny because people like when we would walk around, they would look at me like,
she kind of looks like us.
But then I have green eyes, and so it would like throw them off. So like it was always funny to watch reactions. But when she started like telling me about like whatever was going on with the grocery bill, I was like, I don't know what you're saying. I'm really sorry. I don't. And she was like, oh.
You have to have a translator go with you. Who do they pay for that?
So our team, every team had a translator because, I mean, they could. Most of the players on the basketball team could speak English, broken English, I should say. I mean, actually, that's the only language in Japan they will teach you in class, like growing
really?
up. I mean, you have to master English first, and they can. Most of them they can write English. They can write it better than they can speak it, which is crazy to me.
Kind of look like Bryce Young in that picture.
Wow, Lara, you're really throwing out some.
Oh yeah,
who's
here.
Bryce Young?
Bryce Harper. Excuse me.
Yes,
Bryce Harper.
Yeah, he had some.
Show him the spin.
Great baseball player.
Oh,
that's the best picture. But next question.
Next. Oh, okay. So Jen in our office, she actually owns she's Jay. You know Jay Pitts.
Yeah.
He's so his wife Jen, she's really tall. So I think this is. Like when she posted this question, she said, on average, how many people tell you you're tall or ask your height on any given day?
Oh, God.
Well, at least, I mean, ask me how tall I am is at least twice a day. If I go to a U of L basketball game, they ask me if I can still suit up.
It's literally.
Wow.
That's like five.
Especially
5
now.
to 10 people. I get, hey, can you still play? And I'm like,
can you suit up? Especially like towards the end of the game when they're like,
can you get in there?
A little buzzed.
Yeah.
They're getting a little courage to talk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I think Jen gets asked that everywhere she goes because she's 6 foot. She's 6 foot as a female. Of course, that's not super common. So I found it funny that was the question that she had.
Here's an interesting little known fact. Stephan and I almost worked together at one time.
You did?
We did, almost.
Let's talk about that.
All right. So there was this one time when Rick Pitino was looking for a new assistant. And I had a family friend who assisted me with getting an interview with Rick for this personal assistant. Vinny Goodtimes was moving on to another. If anybody that doesn't know who Vinny Goodtimes is, Vinny Tatum.
Yeah.
He was, I guess, moving on to a new role. And Rick was in search of a new assistant, personal assistant. So, I was fortunate enough to get this interview. So I walk in, I'm wearing like this suit thinking I've got to impress Rick Pitino. I show up, he's wearing an Adidas tracksuit. He's got his hair slicked back like normal. He looked like he was tired. He probably was because he might have been up late watching some film or something. Who knows what he was doing. First thing he says to me, I really didn't want to give you this interview, but I'm helping out, I'm doing a solid for your family friend, but I really, I really don't want to hire you because you're married. I don't want to ruin your marriage. And I was just like, in the moment, I'm like,
Thanks.
Okay. But hindsight, is always 20/20. He did me a huge solid.
Of course.
In that moment.
Who did he give the job to?
This guy named Jordan. Great guy.
And you were interviewing for, what was it again?
His personal assistant.
Assistant.
He told me, he said in the interview process, he's like, I don't think you fully understand what you're interviewing for.
Yeah.
And I said, I think I do, but, feel free, to elaborate. He said, you're on call 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
He said, if I need you, if it's 2:00 in the morning, 4:00 in the morning, whatever, he said, if I call you, I expect you to answer right away and do exactly what I tell you to. And I was like, in my mind, I'm like, so I'm your slave, but I get paid?
So Jordan and you are probably around the same age.
Yeah.
And knowing Jordan and obviously being in the program for 5 years, you wouldn't have the head of hair that you
That's
have right
so
now.
funny.
So
Yeah,
he's pretty much bald almost.
That's,
he
it's,
saved you.
it's a lot of things that happened post-interview that I'm glad I wasn't around for, so I know he did me a solid.
What a
but
cool experience, though.
It was
I mean,
cool.
because it's still Rick Pitino.
It was cool.
And he gave you an interview.
By the end of the interview, he said to me, and I don't know if he truly meant it or not, but at the interview, he said, you've really got me thinking of whether or not I'm going to hire somebody who's married. He said, because I like you. He said, but I'm really going to think about this because I'm not sure. And then he said it again. He said, I'm not sure I want to do this to your marriage.
But honestly, I feel like that was a very
considerate.
Yeah,
It's like,
I mean,
thanks,
I
Coach.
do. He probably has had that happen in the past,
Yeah.
and was saving you from some heartache.
Hey, it is what it is. It was a cool experience.
Yeah, for
So.
sure.
And he still won a championship for Louisville. It happened.
It totally happened.
There's the good one.
Oh, my goodness.
Let me see.
Spin move.
Oh.
Hair flowing.
I wish we had a camera zoom on the thing. We'll have to post.
That
We
should just
have
be
to
the
post
picture
that.
of the podcast.
That's you're gonna have to send that to me.
Stop it.
So I had some questions that I was gonna ask, but I did not realize that you did not start dating until after the championship, because I was gonna ask, how was that for you? But you weren't.
Well, she
You
was
came
there
after.
for 2014. I mean, we
was
still had a
watching
good
Duke
run in
games.
14 where we could have, I think we could have won it again in 14.
Yeah, that was tough.
That
So
was-
remind me, because I will probably remember. Oh, I just remembered another question that I had, or comment. Remind me of what 2014 Sweet 16.
Mm-hmm. We lost the UK in Sweet 16.
Oh, I
That's
do
when the Harrison
remember. How
brothers
could
were
I
hitting
forget
threes
that?
when they shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then
They
you could-
still aren't hitting those kind of threes to this day. It was like the one game. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it happens.
So sad. Man, I miss those days. I really do. Like, again, I'm not
was that the year that they lost? They would have gone undefeated, but they lost the last game.
No, that was
No,
the
that
year-
was-
that was in that was I want to say Anthony Davis's year, but
Did they end up losing to
but they
UConn?
lost to UConn, who we beat three
Like-
times by like
like
the average
20.
of 25 points.
I don't know.
Hey, they didn't win in 2014 either, so it's fine.
We're the last team in Kentucky to win. So.
Are you, let me ask you this. Did you know coming into, because all of it, well, you and I being from here, we know about the Louisville, Kentucky rivalry. Rivalry.
It's a hard word.
Kind of made that, yeah, it
It's
is
a
a
hard
hard
word.
word. Did you know coming in what that meant?
No, I did not. So
I was curious.
I actually grew up an IU fan. So
Mm-hmm.
grew up an IU fan. I didn't like Purdue. Actually, growing up, when I was getting recruited by Painter, I actually started to like Purdue a little bit. But anyways, my recruitment was that's a whole nother story. We don't have to go down, but basically, I grew up a big IU fan, so I kind of understood the hatred towards each other. I mean, it's on the same level, I think, IU and Purdue, but not having a professional team here in the state of Kentucky, I think it takes to another level.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I agree with that. I wanted to ask, and then this is not going to be all about basketball, but we're going to move on. And we're going to go wherever it goes.
We can come back.
But I remember, okay, so when I Googled, I was reading someone else's interview with you, and you mentioned a game I can remember this game so vividly because I was sitting on the floor in my basement. My husband and I were watching the game. Our kids were really little. And he got so pissed off because we were getting our butts handed to us. And he was very passionate. So he throws the pillow down and he walks up. He's like, screw this, I'm done watching. And while he goes upstairs, Preston Knowles went on a freaking run like I've never seen.
The Miracle on Main Street.
Yes.
Marquette.
We were like barely, I don't know.
I remember watching that game too. I was like, I'm not turning this off.
We were down like 16 with less than like 6 minutes or so left.
Yeah.
And, I'll never forget that game either because we just went on I mean, obviously Preston Knowles played out of his mind, but yeah, we just started. That was one of the loudest.
I don't know why he stands out to me I remember him during that game specifically. I don't know how many points he scored. I just remember that I was like, and then I yelled upstairs. I'm like, you need to come down and watch what's happening. Oh my God. And then, I don't know, it was so exciting again.
Man, those were good times.
Yeah. But you did an interview where someone asked you like what players had a big impact on you while you were there. And you mentioned his name, and then it made me remember that game in my living room in my house, and it was freaking awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
PK, pretty close, right?
Yeah, PK. I mean, he's a dog. That's what I'd call him in basketball terms. And when you step in between those lines, you know he's going to do it all and make whatever he can do to win the game. And he kind of instilled a lot of confidence in me early on when I was a freshman, and then moving forward. And I don't know. I was pretty much a role player the whole time I was at U of L, but I can actually score the basketball, believe it or not. And that game, I actually did score the ball, and it was, I was building up my confidence, but my career at Louisville took another turn when other players came in, which is fine. I mean, I just did whatever it took to win. So
right.
So speaking of teammates, I got a question. Who was the teammate that made Coach P the angriest, and why was it Russ Smith? I'm just playing.
No, it definitely was Russ.
That's hilarious.
I mean, Russ would literally do stuff, and he didn't care the consequence as long as we won. I mean,
it worked.
Yeah, Russ was a unique player. I mean, there was time. I wish we had times where we could film our film sessions. That was the most comedy. After every game, we'd have
rewatching the film.
So the next morning we watched the film, and like I just remember Coach P would pause it, and then you'd see 4 defenders and then Russ, and he's trying to score on 4 defenders, and no one is past half court except 4 defenders and Russ.
He was fast,
but
he didn't care.
That's what we're missing right now, though. When I was what little I know about what I know enough to know when I go to the game, we don't have that anymore.
Soft.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm just gonna say
that. Like we don't have. I feel like everyone seems so timid. Like again, I don't know. No offense.
Well, I'm officially now the old guy. I mean, I'm almost 10 years removed from playing basketball.
Isn't that crazy?
I don't want to talk about it. You can see the grays coming in even more. But it's I think it's the way the basketball game is called now too. Where I mean, heck, you can barely touch anyone now. When we played, it was physical. It was Big East basketball. And
it started to change. Like I remember when the shift started to happen, and it's like just let them freaking play. I do remember slowly as it happened.
And I'll say too, I think the U of L basketball style is much different now that Coach P's gone. I mean, obviously we're not pressing and we're not playing the defense we used to, and obviously the offense is different. Everything's just different.
Yeah. What do you miss the most?
Just I can't really speak words either. Camaraderie with the guys.
Words are hard.
Me too.
Words are very hard for me. And I actually, fun fact, I make up my own words.
Oh, I have a whole note section full of them.
Oh, that's hilarious.
We do not mean to bring those up.
That's another time.
But yeah, I just miss being around the guys and just doing, going out. I mean, actually just the whole practice and then building up to the game and then being able to be a college kid afterwards. I miss all that.
So once are you still, this is for both of you, since you've been in now it's been a year?
It will be a year in May.
You and Jim got in close to the same time because I remember you called me. Or no, do you remember? I told you that she had a website or a Facebook group that she was in that was helping her pass.
Oh, yeah.
Prep agent?
Yeah, maybe? I think it was prep agent.
You told me about it or one of you told me about it and I shared it with the other and I don't remember which, but you all were getting your license right about the same time, which is why I remember that it was.
That was back before you thought my name was, after you thought I was a woman named Jill.
I thought you were a woman named Jill.
Yeah, that's a whole different story.
It's fine. It's fine. So how has you walked away completely from training others. Any regrets?
Or regrets.
Or regrets?
No, I think I was ready. I loved it, and it was great for, where we were in our lives and the flexibility, but I knew eventually we wanted kids, and I was like, there's no way I'm getting up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning and working all day, because one, I don't want to be pregnant doing that, and two, I don't want to not see my kids. So and I know people are like, well, real estate, you don't really, but I mean, I was literally in the gym all day long. So
I would get there at like 9, and I was like, "Oh, am I the first person?"
Hours.
She's like, "Girl, I've been here since 4." Like, wow.
And it started. I mean, when you're younger, you can do that kind of stuff. And I started taking it. I was like,
it was taking a toll on everyone. My sleep schedule was. She wakes me up every 4 o'clock in the morning almost every day.
I was just tired all the time, and I was like, "What am I doing?"
Yeah.
And I own my own business, and I was in control of all of it, but I couldn't say no. So if someone wanted to come train, and they were like, well, I'll add on to your night, I'm like, oh, great, I'll stay extra hour, sure.
So does that transfer over into your real estate life, like not being able? Okay, do you guys? Where does your business come from? Is it all Sphere?
Yeah, right now it's been a lot of Sphere, and and referrals.
Okay. And I'll have random messages on Instagram. Like I had a girl from California that we got on a call with because they were looking to invest here, because obviously they don't want to invest in California right now.
Right.
So like it's been sprinkles from social media, but mainly Sphere
past clients
and referrals.
So you're not very active on social media.
Oh, it's the worst.
And
sorry.
What are you doing?
What do you want me to do? Like, just post myself? Do we take a selfie right now and post it?
I remember telling her, I'm like, and we're all realtors here, and someone even said, why do you have other realtors on your podcast? I'm like, there's enough business to go around. I'm not about that.
Yeah.
I'm about helping whoever and talking about whatever we need to talk about, and it's fun. But you're sitting on a freaking gold mine. Like, seriously.
Why do you think I joined?
I know, and we talked about that.
I was like, gosh, he drives me. I can't handle my social media and his and marketing and doing all that stuff. So
she's the marketing leader for the team now. So I'm gonna.
It's just not his thing, and I get it. There's people. I mean, honestly, if we didn't have to have it, I would love to not have it, because I hate every week I get my notification of how long I spend on my phone, and I'm like, oh, this is
every week.
Painful.
You spent 8% more time on your phone.
I know, and I think we're all guilty of that. But
we also have to. If you own your own business, you have to have social media. I mean. Now I will draw the line. I'm not TikToking. I'm not. He gets mad at me because he wants me to do that, and I don't.
I totally did it during quarantine. I was TikToking it up. I was like, Kevin Hart, you want to make a TikTok? Have y'all seen that? You haven't seen it, or it would be funny. No, I'm so stupid.
Well, so like, it's funny because I've done a couple, and it's really interesting. So we went to Dallas to the Tom Ferry thing.
Yes.
And this Glenda, what's her last name? Baker. This crazy high-powered agent in Atlanta. And she was talking about, and she's a much more mature woman than me. And what I mean by that is she has greater years of age, but I'm not going to call her old because she's balling out of control down there.
She sure is.
Everything is video.
Yeah.
Everything that she does is video. And like, she talked about this and how, whether it's TikTok or Reels or Lives or whatever, it's
like you need to hire someone to do that for you on top of everything else.
The money she's making, she can probably afford 3 or 4 people to do it. But it's wild.
Yeah.
Maybe just for you guys after this podcast, I'll start.
Seriously, again, like, I think that you are, even if you just did it a little bit, because honestly, everyone in this town loves you. Like, everyone loves you. Like, this town is very much.
No, it is true.
You have,
one day I asked him, I said, do you have anybody, because I have people that don't like me. And I'm like, do you name one person that doesn't like you? And he's like, people don't like me. I was like, okay, let's think about this. And he literally was like,
yeah, give me a break. No, everyone loves you. And again, this is the first time we've actually had conversations with each other, but I think that a little bit would just be a game changer in your business.
And I'm trying. I would put it this way: I've slowly, and we've talked, and we've got some stuff in the works, but I'm hoping to have better content. She's great with doing professional photos. Like, I had to ask. I hate it. I almost had to ask her, "Hey, babe, can I post this? Like, does it look good?" Like, I don't know.
She's a pro.
I know. And
She's
that's
a pro.
the thing.
But that gets expensive too. Like I had a photographer over Sunday, and she spent a couple hours there because I was like, now we're at the age where you don't want to post a picture, and this sounds so bad, God. And, you know what I mean? Unless it's aesthetically pleasing for your page. Like no one wants to see a cell phone picture. Like they want to see a nice quality photo, and that just adds to more stuff.
I feel really bad right now.
Well, it's
everything
funny.
of my no, I'm just kidding.
No, it's funny that you said, because you're not wrong. Like,
no, she's not.
You're not wrong. But what's interesting? Sorry, I'm way away from the mic. I didn't mean to sound like echo. What's interesting about that is, so this lady Glenda talked about that again, and then so did Tom Ferry. He was saying, look, just anything, and he said, doesn't have to be real estate related. Anything that shows your personal whatever, anything is good. Now, of course, you got to let people know like what you're doing, you know, and all the things. But they were saying literally anything.
And that's the one thing I hate to give them credit, but the Kardashians, right? How did they become who they are? Because they just filmed themselves living life every day. They weren't targeting anything or selling a product. Now they are, but at the time it was just a day in their lives.
If they can, make some man skims to skim me up a little bit, I'll be all right.
I'm sure it's on the list.
I'm
sure.
Anything that's going to...
The producer liked that one. He's trim a little bit. You want some skims too?
Just saying.
But they are right. That's how I built my fitness industry. It didn't start out being, I want to target fitness and be a trainer. It was like, here's what I like to do. Here's a video of me working out. Here's me and my dogs. Here's us on vacation. Here's me and Stephan. And then just repeat over that way, because when people are like, are you going to start a real estate page? And I was like, no, because no one wants to see that.
Well, and that...
They might, I don't know, but no one's going to follow my page if I'm like, here's only real estate, because people like to see the variety. They want to know more about you and your personality than just what house you bought or sold. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
You're right, because like Stephan said, it's a relationship business, and people want to work with people they like. They want to know that you can relate, that they can meet you, and you have something in common, or you have something.
Rick said he liked me. Just playing.
But for example, we had a phone call with I won't name names, but Doberman people. Like
that's on my thing too.
That they were looking for a house, and like, how did we meet? Because they have a Doberman and we have Dobermans, and like we were hanging out with another guy that has a Doberman, and we met on social media, and like he did pictures for us, and so like it's just like things like that.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, she likes dogs. I do too.
Believe it or not, though, I'm more old school. I like the face-to-face. And I don't like the social media side of it as much. I get it to move forward.
He's a phone call guy.
Yeah.
That is really good in this business, though, because fantastic. Most of us are not.
Oh, everyone wants. I hate.
And it's so funny.
I hate our business. If you don't answer my phone call, I'm upset. And then if you don't answer my text, I'm even more upset.
That is good stuff, though.
We have a close friend, Gary Spence. Hey, Gary.
Hey, Gary.
And he's so funny because he's like, he said this months ago, but he's like, God, I know when my phone rings, it's either Stephan or my mom. Like, there's only two people that call me. He was like, it's either VT or my mom. And I was like, God, that's so true.
Here's a great question for you then to not segue away, but to connect to that. So what about the people you text that they have the read receipt and you see that it's been read, but they still don't respond? Is that not just
exclamation point it? I know you saw that.
Like, who keeps their read receipts on? First of all,
no, I don't.
Yours are on.
Ooh, let's see.
I like it because then I know when I text her and she sees it. Yeah,
that must have been an accident.
She's not very. She as good as she's with technology.
I'm terrible with stuff like that.
She does not know the little things.
I do.
Okay, I just text you. I want to see.
I really don't think I
look at it and let me see if it changes.
This is awesome.
Moment of truth.
No, don't reply.
I didn't reply.
Oh.
Did it not say read?
It says delivered, but it doesn't say read.
Maybe it's just you. Can you see? I don't even know. I must have been drunk one night.
You're just special.
It's like accidentally.
I have to call you.
Okay, this is irrelevant. It doesn't really matter. We just answer.
See where it says red there?
Oh, they are on. Maybe they're. Do you have him in your?
I guess I'm special.
I wouldn't even know how to do that. Did you do
I don't
that?
know.
I didn't touch your phone.
She didn't break into my phone and turn it on.
I wanted to tell everyone on the podcast that I broke into your phone.
Oh my gosh.
It's the penance for waking him up at 4 a.m.
But yeah. But I don't think anybody I've ever. I mean, Casey has hers on, but I think that's like the only person, and she's like my best friend. So.
Okay.
Not a client.
Okay.
Next.
Next. I'm trying to look at my little notes here and see if there's something that I didn't ask that I.
When I said something about Dobermans, you're like, oh,
that was in your bio. You were featured in Today's Woman in 2018. What, you don't remember that?
Was I?
Yes, you were in a magazine.
You were in them, yes.
That's
And they called you an
an article.
influencer.
No,
That's so weird because yesterday we got in our mailbox a Today's Woman magazine, and it was again a more mature woman on the cover, and she was holding a blunt.
Ooh.
I'm not kidding.
Really?
Yeah, and I asked my wife Jessica. I said, "Did you?" I don't care if she subscribed. I said, "Did you subscribe to this magazine?"
Is that
She's
a
like,
local
"Well,
magazine?
Yeah,
I don't know."
It's it's local.
But it
sure?
wasn't. It wasn't in the mailbox. It was like on the underside, the little boxes that are underneath that like supposed to hold your newspaper or whatever. Yeah, it was just there, and it didn't have a address on it like to anyone. It was just there. I was like,
I'll have to look that up.
And there's a lady holding a blunt on the front.
I will share it with you
Please
and show
do.
you, because unless my wife threw it away, 'cause she is the queen of if it's irrelevant in the mail, it immediately goes in the trash. Not that magazine's irrelevant, but if she's not going to read it.
Yeah.
So I did have something else in here because we talked, was it last episode? We talked about, it was still January and we were talking about goals and like, what is our 2022 kind of look like? So you both are in the business together now. And do you guys, I'm actually the worst at this and I'm a team leader, so I should be a little bit better, but I kind of fly by the seat of my pants on most days. But I like to set goals for them, and then their goals kind of help me create my goals. So how has the real estate thing been going so far? Has it met or exceeded your expectations? And what are your goals for 2022 in your career side?
Well, I think we did in November the Ninja installation. It was his second time, my first time. Are you familiar?
What is it?
Ninja with
It's another Ninja selling. It's another
kind of like Buffini would do, like just
Oh,
another.
okay. It's like another Buffini's all you need. It's somewhere along those lines.
Yeah.
Training platform.
Yeah. So a woman from that company came in and we did was a 4 or 5 day?
4 days.
Yeah, all day training. And in that we set goals. Mm-hmm. So a lot of it was, salary for the next year. She sat and talked to us too, just because she's like, I know you just joined, and as how are you all going to run this business now? So we kind of talked about that kind of thing. But go ahead, say what you need to say. You were here.
No, I didn't. I hit the mic.
Oh,
did you?
I thought he was getting antsy.
I was getting ready to scratch my neck, but yeah. No, I mean, and I'm not the best with coming. Yes, I do set goals, but I will say I haven't finished my 2022 business plan, which I need to finish before the end of the month. Mm-hmm. But looking forward now.
At least you have one.
Well, yes.
Yeah, we definitely have one.
Well, at least now that she's with me. I mean, I will say I've done roughly $4 million-ish a year since I've been in the business. Mm-hmm. I'm going to put it out there. I would love to do double that. I mean, double up to 10. I mean,
say it out loud.
We do.
One of my, yeah, we do.
Talk about our cars and everything.
One of my other realtor friends who's in the office with me, his goal for this year is 10 million, and I'm a competitor, so I'm like, well, I'm gonna get to 10 million before you. So
you and Jim would be really good friends.
So
he is as competitive as they come.
I'm not saying like we're on pace to do some good things this year. Obviously just got to close, but
get some inventory.
But yeah,
right.
A lot of things gotta.
The struggle is real.
Fall into
many
place
buyers.
Here. But yeah, it's like you said. I mean, there's so much business out there, and I'm starting to learn. I'm starting to get some commercial stuff too as well. So I'm trying to learn as much as I can because there's so many different facets of real estate.
There is, and I feel like even me. I've been doing this for almost 9 years, and I've done a lot of business, but even there's still every day. Mm-hmm. There's so much more that you can learn about, like commercial. Jim had a commercial listing appointment set up a month or two ago. Mm-hmm. And he's like coming to me for advice. And I'm like, yeah, about that. There's still so much you can learn about so many different things.
That, and then, when the girl called from California about investing, I'm like, oh, this is exciting because this is something I personally haven't done. So, to learn that way too, versus always just doing, residential's fine.
Yeah.
But, and just to learn the different.
I truly feel that especially when it comes to investment, I think you learn the most by doing it yourself. Like my husband and I flipped a few homes, and I learned so much. The first one was before I was even a licensed realtor. And you just learn so much, just like transactions themselves. When you get into them, it's like, I can sit here and go over this contract with you, all day long. But until you get out there and start working with people and getting in the thick of it, did y'all think of the...
Yeah, I did. Are you going to sing it?
I was going to. Yes, thank you. You let me down.
I guess that's a common theme around here.
Into the thick of it.
You gotta get a TikTok, apparently.
Evidently, yeah.
That's
You don't
an
know
IG
that?
thing.
I know it. I'm just like in my mind, like I don't want to sing it and be wrong. So I know it's into the thick of it.
There you go. Thank you. Okay.
I'm just like thinking in my mind, like how like the other things I sing that are so much better.
Oh, let's talk about that.
We can next time.
What is it called?
I believe in a thing called love.
Go ahead.
By
Come
the
on,
Darkness.
give us some.
Give
us some.
No, not this moment. Not this moment.
He's had a coffee, not a bourbon.
This is facts.
You don't
Hashtag
know,
facts.
what's in that coffee.
Facts.
So I challenge. I mean, 10 million's a big number.
It is a big number. Almost had it.
But like you said,
Almost.
we're sitting on a gold mine.
You are.
I think I'm someone that you got to have big goals. I mean, heck, I wanted to win a national championship, and we did it. So,
yes, you did.
So,
I'm just going to say that one more time.
but that's the thing with me. I'm obviously basketball. I'm going to move back to the basketball talk.
Yeah.
My whole life, I've been an athlete. Basketball, it's been my main sport. And I just know you have to set the high goals in order to reach them. And ultimately, I don't think it's unachievable for us. I mean, right now we've got a lot of things in place where we are mentors and just a good team of people around us in general. And I just feel confident. I mean, part of it, getting on the show and meeting you, and this is going to be good content for everyone.
Yeah, I'm super glad that you decided. I feel like I knew she wouldn't say no. But
even though I was like, I gotta talk to people.
She's an introvert, and I'm the extrovert.
I can do it. It'll just exhaust me.
That's why I think that you two doing this together, because areas where you lack, she doesn't, and you can both kind of pick each other up that way.
She just needs to, since I'm more mature, I guess, in the business side of it. I will say I just need her to, how it is with them. Anytime you're husband and wife, just button heads, but just getting her to listen to me
for sure.
But I think she's starting to realize I do know what I'm saying sometimes, but she still will ask her manager at the office sometimes if I'm right or not.
That's not necessarily true. It's just me and her just align in how we work. I'm very task oriented. I like
very
organization.
Disciplined and
I
have
like
to have a plan
to do things the right way.
I do things the right way.
Oh,
say it
no,
like that.
That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. But you are more like you and your mentor align more, where they're more like you said, like freelance, go with the flow, like where I'm like, that stresses me out. I need to have a very.
Well, I have a system, and she's not used to the system.
Not what I'm saying.
But but you get it. This is what it's fun.
Here we are.
Since we're in business, this is the real life stuff, though. We go through our flows of things, and honestly, it's been working so far, though.
All right, so I like to hold people accountable. So 10 million. Your dude was 10 million, and you wanted to do better than that. So we're gonna go 10.5.
Do 11.
I really want 20, to be quite honest with you, but
hey, you can do it. It can be done.
It can, but
my highest.
She's just getting started, and I think 10's a great goal. She's looking at me.
We're about okay. You can do 20, maybe not right now. I know that it's possible. Again, my highest as an individual, and I'm going to toot my own horn here simply because I want you to know that it's within your reach more than you realize it is. I was not a beloved U of L Cardinal national champion, and I've sold over 20 million as an individual agent before. And that is why I know if you grab a hold of all of the potential that's there, and like the sky is the freaking limit. I mean that, like, I want that.
Which is the beauty of this job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And the beauty of it is you can be as busy or not as you want. And when it's time to have those kids, you can scale back if you want to.
And that was one of the main reasons, like, I was going and working my butt off. Not saying you weren't working your butt off, but, like, working too hard to not make enough money. And then, like, I see him, like, doing this and, like, you know, being done at, like, 4 or 5 o'clock. And I'm like,
yeah.
So you're making so much more than I am. What am I doing? Like,
look, the task of being Vanilla Godzilla, that's a real deal. That's
exhausting. You know?
That is a real deal right there. So no, I'm with you on goals though, because I am a firm believer that you don't set a goal that's easy to hit.
Yep.
So, and you know, it's funny because we did our 2020 recap and I put my goal out there and I said it out loud and it's scary.
Oh yeah.
But it's not supposed to be easy. And I think that, to me, the competitive person that I am, like, that's kind of what drives me, because I know what I want to do. And since I've put it out there for all the world to hear now, because since this is broadcast on many numerous website channels.
4.
Either way. I mean, that I put it out there and I put it in print. Like,
it's,
you know, it like, if I don't do it, I mean, if I get close, it's going to be a dang good year. But if I don't hit it, it's because I didn't hit it. Well, I did hit my first goal and then I adjusted.
He met it and then he was like, oh, I'm going to exceed it. Let's raise the goal. And then he barely fell short. Yeah. But it's like, again, going back to the Tom Ferry Summit, he even said there, if you set your goal so high and you just fall short, there's no losers there. No. Like, it just, I mean, I don't know.
Are you interested or committed?
Are you interested or are you committed? That's like our theme for the year. And it's so relevant because so many people in this business, truly, they get in this with anything. Trainers, like so many trainers, they get in it and they think, oh, because I competed once, now I can be a trainer. And they're interested, but they're not committed and they fail. But it's the same, like, you just have to wake up every single day, be intentional with your business and what you're going to do that day, and everything. Both of you are so good with people. I'm pretty excited about it. I mean, it's just getting started, but I'm really excited for both of you.
The three of us have a mutual friend that wants to get in this business also. He's probably told you, he's the most obnoxious Pittsburgh Steelers fan you ever met.
My dad.
Do I know this person?
Bad Brad, when you hear this, don't be upset.
Oh.
You know, Bradley never told us. Actually, when I first got into business, I showed Bradley house.
So here's what's funny.
Is he the dude? Okay.
Yep, he's the dude. One. So here's what's funny about this. So obviously, you know, I lost my previous job, and then I instantly, I'm going to be a realtor. And my wife was like, seriously? And I said, absolutely. So then I started to take the class. And Brad had started it too at the same time.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind. He did tell me. He did tell me. He asked me because I said go to. So I can't remember where.
Yeah, I did. You told greatwaytolearn.com is where I did mine. Shout out to Todd. He was great.
Todd Thornton. He's
Thornton.
Awesome.
He is a good dude. It was weird. I didn't expect to like actually talk to the guy when I had questions, but no, I would email a question and immediately, like within 30 minutes, he was calling me, like him, and I was like, oh.
So how does?
Anyways. I don't know how they know each other, but
how do you know Brad?
Just college friends. I mean,
okay.
Good dude. Yeah, no, but
nice.
It's funny because you know how like spacey he can be.
Oh yeah.
And I would tell him this if he was sitting right here. I'm like, dude, if you're gonna do this, you got to do it. And he's like, I know. I need to get some time. And I'm like, well, there was this thing called COVID where you were working at home.
Yeah.
When I started mine.
Yeah.
Same. So, anyways, it's just funny. I laugh about it.
Okay, so
I think he could be good at it.
Yeah, you just got to be committed. Like, I mean, are you in it, or what was the saying here?
Are you interested or committed? Yeah. So, all right. So we got the goal. So let me ask. So, what is your team? Are you going to call your team something? Have you thought about that? Like, are you
been saying just Van Treese Realty? I don't know.
We don't have an official team name. I wouldn't say. I mean, it's kind of. The way it's structured at our office, I'm still trying to figure that out. On like if we have to, or we just Team Van Treese, or just
the Lara, Van Treese Pros,
or just Lara and Stephan Van Treese team. I don't know exactly how we're going to be named, but yeah, here we are.
If you don't incorporate Vanilla Godzilla, it's a failure. I'm just kidding.
I mean,
I'm just playing.
No, she wouldn't go for it.
I'm just messing with you.
Well, I think
that's fantastic. I'll never forget it.
So you got to get, I feel like who am I? I don't know who I feel like I am.
You're
Who's got
Tracy
some advice?
French.
But I feel like you got to get a team name so you can start the branding. Like the branding, because it's like, again, who am I to say that? But I just feel like you get that branding name going and then you just freaking run with it.
Talk to my marketing manager
But then again, it's like you got to think, does Simenon have, Remax has certain marketing rules that you have to abide by, which we do. But yeah.
So do we, but I'm also just learning it. I mean, we're actually in the process of signing some agreement stuff with the team stuff.
Yeah, because, it's still very new. I mean, so 2022 is really your first
full year together.
Yeah.
Because 2021, we were technically, when we were working together, obviously, but we were still individuals in the company.
Oh, you were? Okay, so it is truly new.
And it just didn't make sense at the time from when she got into the business officially with her whole tobacco of trying to get her license.
Right.
So technically, that was a whole thing too. So I really didn't even get started till probably later than that.
So how many followers do you have on Instagram?
Maybe 13 or 14,000. Not enough. Not Lara.
That's good. So you only have to have.
Yeah, but the difference is all of yours are from 90% are from the city versus mine are scattered.
Yeah.
So like when you post something, you're targeting.
So I would be curious to have you all back later in the year when things are really going to see.
Put pressure on me now.
Well, like what's it? Pressure makes diamonds,
right?
Yeah, because I would. That's really what I am interested and curious to see how you navigate that. How you navigate. I think we may have mentioned this too. Like Janitra on my team was had a massive social media following.
She was a trainer too. And she competed,
I think maybe at one point it was 180,000.
Wow.
And it's like, how do we, and we still haven't, how do we capture? But like you said, most of those are all across the country or the world.
And so, I think, obviously you've been in the business 9 years. I still think it comes back to relationships. And part of the social media, I think, is, hey, this is who I am as a person. This is my personality. And then when they line up, they'll reach out if they truly want to talk to you about real estate.
Completely agree.
And then you build the rapport from there.
You're about to smash it.
And even then, they might go with their high school friend.
Dude, there's nothing you can do about that. I have learned at this point, just smile.
I had one the other day I tried to get that some friends that I know that are moving away. And so I called up the husband, the guy that I'm friends with, and I was just like, look, I'm sure you've got plenty of contacts. If you need any help, let me know. And the response was, well, my wife's brother is an agent, and he's going to not take a commission on the selling side. And I'm like, then that's absolutely who you need to go with.
Yeah, I ain't the one.
I'm thinking to myself in the back of my head, I'm like, well, I don't work for free, but somebody else can if they want to. But I'm like, yeah, that's where you need to go. But
exactly.
It happens. So.
Yeah, it's always going to happen. And it doesn't matter who you are or...
Time out. What are your goals, since we're going to do a little recap the rest of the year?
She's probably not written them down yet.
She already said she hadn't, but she could throw one out right now.
So my goals have kind of been, I'll just say it. You don't even know this yet. As of today,
exclusive.
My team is changing drastically because in the next 2 weeks we are going to be -3 agents. Look at, he's like, what the hell? So
more leads for me.
I'm just playing. No, I'm just
so
kidding.
I'm gonna before I knew that, my goal was I truly wanted everyone on my team to make 6 figures or more. And so that's kind of when I say, like, I get my goals based on what I want out of them and what they expect of themselves. This year our goal was to sell, my goal for the team was to sell 50 million, and we did 62 million.
Ta-da.
17 something of my own production, but all of the rest was the team. And so for 2022, again, I have to reevaluate things because, I mean, we're going to be down 3.
That's tough.
Yeah. So
no, because I'm going to take care of one of them.
Yeah.
Because when I hit my goal, it's going to take care. I don't know who you're talking about, but I'm going to hit mine.
Right. I haven't told him yet. No one knows.
I'm going to hit mine.
But so my goal, I will say now, and I talked to my assistant this morning, and it's like, okay, well, this is okay. I'm going to have to transition and I'm going to have to adapt. And I'm like, I'm not going to let it get me. I'm not going to be sad about it. I'm going to look at this as another opportunity for me to change someone else's life. And that's truly the way I'm going to go about it. There's someone out there who wants to get in this business or maybe is already in this business and is really wanting to just take it to the next level. And I'm going to change their life in some way or another.
Brad, if you're listening, get your license, my dude.
Get off the couch, Brad.
Get your license, my dude.
I truly mean that. Like that's, I think anyone who's listened to me before, that's what real estate is for me now. How many people can I help? Before I had a team, it was how many clients can I help with real estate in some way. But now it's that too. I mean, I still do my own business, but it's, I don't know, just like for you, he joined my team after losing a job and was stressed as heck that his whole life was about to get flipped upside down. And he made more this year than he ever made at his prior job. Like that makes me feel great that I had even a little bit of part of that. So that's my goal for 2022 is to just transition however I can and see who else we can help.
Your phone's going to blow up when this episode hits. You realize right?
Interviews are being, no, I'm just kidding. No, I don't know. We're just, again,
you got to sit in your tracksuit, hair slicked back.
Yes. I want to say
you can't be married.
You're not married.
The tracksuit was either black or dark burgundy. I remember
100%.
Either way,
probably black.
It was probably black.
Oh God!
I feel like white with red stripes.
It wasn't.
It wasn't the.
It was a dark color tracksuit. Yeah, no.
Do you remember 100%. The white suit that he wore, and then he was like,
he sweated through, and he had to change.
No, I thought he changed because he thought it was bad luck.
No, his underwear was showing. 100%.
This wasn't when I was here, though. Actually, never mind. I take that back. It was
because that was
that's so funny.
That was so when I cheered, it was in Freedom Hall, and talk about historic. Like growing up in North Carolina.
We might need to have part 1 and part 2 of this one too because we are talking a lot.
Growing up in North Carolina, because you asked Stephen this question if he understood the rivalry here. Mm-hmm. So it was interesting when I moved here for the first time back in 2004. Coming from North Carolina, I lived in what, everybody knows as Tobacco Road.
Yeah.
So you've got Duke and North Carolina are only 8 miles apart, and then just down the road is NC State, and that's where I did my undergrad. So you got these 3 schools, 2 of which actually have a really rich history in basketball, and then the school that I went to really wants to have a rich history in basketball. They don't. So annoying. 74 and 83, shout out to those championships. But anyways, so they're like, having been to games in Cameron Indoor, having been to games in the Dean Smith Dome, having been to games in what was NC State's. It's interesting because NC State played in an old Coliseum called Reynolds Coliseum. Mm-hmm. And if you go inside of it, it's dang near, like design-wise, identical to Freedom Hall. It's this long, like cavernous, long arena, but and narrow. But, I mean, the fans are like on top of you. But then now they play in what's called, I think it was RBC, and I think it's called PNC now is where NC State plays. But it's this new state-of-the-art arena, kind of like KFC Yum Center. But anyway, so I moved here, and everybody's like, oh, you're going to experience the Louisville-Kentucky rivalry. And I was like, I grew up with Duke in North Carolina.
I get it.
So it's no, it's cool. But anyways, total tangent there.
Well, Duke and UK have a pretty decent rivalry as well.
Yeah.
Do you know about that?
Just a little bit.
Really? Okay, so I'm not a UK fan.
No, I know about that.
Like the Christian.
That was sarcasm.
Christian Laettner.
Christian Laettner. The shot. I was in 7th or 8th grade when that happened, and this guy that I had a crush on in middle school was the biggest UK fan, and I called him right after that, and I was like, ha ha, and he hung up on me.
Well, even to this, I mean,
Was so
obviously
mad.
I can't wear Duke anymore, but before we started dating, and I would wear Duke's, shirts, sweatshirts around, and like the looks I would get were just like the most intense death stares, and I'm like, y'all are still holding this over
Yeah.
Duke's head? Like,
Yes. The answer is yes.
I'll give you a little tidbit from. So obviously you guys remember when Kevin Ware broke his leg.
Oh my God, that was the worst.
I was
I
there.
saw it instantly. When
I
it
was
happened.
there in the arena, and it was so sad.
So after we won the game, Coach Pitino was one of the happiest he ever was in the locker room. Obviously, we're on our way to the Final Four, but he was like, "Guys, that game meant a lot to me because that was his first game beating Duke since the Kentucky loss."
No, I didn't realize that.
I didn't realize that.
Pretty sure it was, but yeah, to go to the Final Four. But
fact check.
I just got chills.
But
I don't know why.
he was like he didn't want to say that to the media or anything. Like
Yeah.
he was all but he was like, guys, like that meant a lot to me to win that game. So
I think that meant a lot to a lot of diehard Louisville fans. But man, you brought that up. That was
but outside of obviously Kevin breaking his leg, but he was super pumped that we won, and obviously to beat Duke the way we did because we were losing and we came back and crushed them.
that game was a nail biter, but most of them are.
So go ahead.
No, you're good.
No, prior to that, so I cheered in the 2005 Final Four run.
Okay.
And talk about like fun. So we were in Conference USA at that time. We played Memphis for the Conference USA championship in Memphis. And I don't know if you remember this, but because obviously that was a while before you got here, but we fouled at the end of the game some baller freshman of theirs. I'm trying to remember his name, but he had 3 free throws. Had he hit 2 of them, he'd have won the game. He missed all but one. And we won. Like, the game was over.
Yeah.
Like, the foul happened, like, I think there was like 0.1 second left on the clock. So the game was over short of his free throws. And he missed them. So we won that. Then we go, on a run. And the Sweet 16 was out in New Mexico, in Albuquerque, which was neat because where we played was where NC State won the 83 championship. But I digress. And that game against West Virginia, when they had this big tall guy named Kevin Pittsnoggle.
Yeah.
Pittsnoggle.
Yeah, he was.
All right.
He was
a beast.
He might have been an original Vanilla Godzilla, but it's neither here nor there.
I'm the original.
You are correct. But no, that game was fantastic. Then we got destroyed by Illinois in round 1. But hey, I was there at the Final Four. It was cool.
No, that was actually the first time I really paid attention to Louisville. Actually, was 04 or 05, and
That was fun.
Who was on the team then?
Francisco.
Okay, so I was thinking Francisco Garcia. Okay.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah, that
else?
was a good team.
That was that was before I became interested.
Cisco. We had.
Is that when Ellis Miles played? Was he?
Yes, Ellis and
Was Al-Haji on that team?
I want to say Perrin, but I know that was probably before his
Perrin
time.
was there.
That was Perrin
Or
Johnson.
no, it wasn't. It was just before his time.
There was Larry O'Bannon was on that team.
I remember that
That was a
O'Bannon
good-
name.
Was Reese on the
David
team?
was on the team. David.
Paget.
Mm-hmm. David was on the team. I think that was just after Reese Gaines.
I have a hard time remembering that time because I was such an IU fan at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was awesome.
Otis George.
Was on the team. That's right.
Look at you got a little
She knows.
expert over
I
here.
know things. Oh, because I was in love with Francisco Garcia. I was in 6th grade.
I'm gonna
He
have
made
to,
him me and my friend made him a scrapbook. And because Dad knows people, so we took it down to him. We're like, make just.
I'm gonna have to Google him.
Cisco
Let me
was
get out of here.
he was funny. So we were on
he was so sweet.
We were on the charter flight with the team, and Coach Pitino gets on the plane after the fact, and he's like, "Hey guys, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate all your support." Like the band's on the flight too.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's like, "We're gonna go to the Final Four. We're gonna go all the way. We're gonna win this thing." And everybody was like, "Ah!" And then it didn't happen. But neither here nor there. But it was cool.
You're lucky you're not on a flight after a loss.
Oh God.
You're not sleeping. Coach P is walking up and down the aisle cussing the whole time. And
You do some pretty good impersonations.
Do
but
it.
I know he won't do that. The
It's-
best is when the film ones, when you all would talk about watching film and him critiquing.
a lot of it is a lot of cuss words
Yeah, there's a lot of
and
cuss
things I probably shouldn't be saying. But
We can bleep it.
I will say it was, if after a loss you knew you weren't going to sleep until you got home to your dorm, and then you're either, if you're on a bus, he's literally has the computer in his face and he's watching film the whole time, and he's like, "Why the hell did you do that, son?" And you're like, I just, mentally you're like not gonna. You don't want to say anything. You're just like, I did not do well in this play, coach. I'm a bad player. Like basically that's what you need to say. Just admit you're wrong.
He used to like ground you all too. Like I remember he was like, "You're all not doing anything. No one's allowed over." He would like lock you all in your rooms.
Were you allowed? Did you have social media restrictions?
Yes, we were not locked. She's making it seem like a little. She's making.
No,
it seem
I'm just saying like
or something. No, this is when people were being dumb, and he had to make us have curfew. That was it.
Yeah.
She was just mad because she couldn't come over that night. That was all.
But it was just funny because he was just so.
We actually weren't allowed to have a Twitter.
Dad.
We weren't allowed to have a Twitter because of Russ Smith.
Really?
You know why? Russ Smith's a freshman, and he's tweeting about his going number 2 on the toilet.
Oh.
And just dumb stuff in general.
Spectre Smith.
But that you would expect out of Russ. I mean, especially at that time when he wasn't even a real player at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd say this to his face, and he would know too. Like he was just young and just young and dumb and
being a kid.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just funny because I wasn't able to have Twitter until I left Louisville.
I
Wow.
don't think I knew that.
Sounds like you and Russ would get along.
I
love
his
bodily
personality.
functions, talking
Like,
about farts.
I love his
That's
personality.
the lady that
Russ
has a
is the best.
fart thing in her car when I walked by.
I so thought that I was gonna get him. I had the phone on record, and he wouldn't get off the phone.
I
told you, he's always on the phone.
I was like, I'm waiting for Stephen to get out of the car because I'm gonna push the fart button, and I'm gonna record him looking around, wonder who it was, and he never got out of the car.
That's funny.
And then her reaction
I was like, what?
was not what I wanted either.
Not everybody.
They don't
enjoys it.
appreciate it like we do.
We're not as fun. I'm sorry.
It just caught me off guard.
We're really immature around here. It's okay.
There's nothing. I said this in our least listened to episode. There's nothing more funny to me than bodily function. So I'll just leave it at that. Not a single thing. It's hysterical to me.
Clearly, I must agree because I laugh every time he says it.
It's hysterical.
It really is.
Nothing that's not funny about it.
The funniest thing is when I'm pulling in somewhere and I'm like, so I went to drop my daughter off at Male High School the other night for the basketball game, and we park in the front, and she's like, so people are kind of walking past little by little, going to the gym, and we're pushing the button. The funniest part about it is when people try to pretend like they don't hear it at all. It's like, you know that you hear this massive fart and you are too cool to just, and then, you get people that turn around but it's funny that it's like so many people want to act like they didn't even hear it.
That'd be me. I would act like I didn't hear it.
I could see, yeah.
Well, I was like, where did that come from?
Was that me?
Well, at first I was
My
like, is that
gosh.
Stephen? Like, or someone on the phone with him? Like, because sometimes he has
Because I'm
people
just
on his.
ripping it in public.
Well, sometimes you have people like on the speakerphone, and I was like, is someone like playing some weird joke or something? Like, what's
Oh,
going on?
that's funny.
And I look over, and you're like, and I was like, oh god.
I was dying laughing by myself.
She was.
She didn't think it was as funny as I did.
Hysterical.
Anyways, okay, I know we've been rambling, but
We can do a part 2.
I'm really thankful that you all came because I think that there's a lot of people that real estate is not the first choice. Most people get into real estate after something else. So I think it's good to talk about, like, there's fear. Do I jump in and kind of like you walked away from that, the fitness career. But I do really want to have you all back on towards the end of the year and just kind of see how things are going.
We will be drinking bourbon then.
We can drink bourbon I won't, but you all can.
Why? What?
It's nasty.
No, it's not.
What do you want, some champagne? Or
No,
glorious.
I don't do any of that.
White Claw?
What was it? You had a martini or whatever.
No, it was rum. Rum. I was supposed to ask you about rum.
I do have a single barrel rum.
That's right.
Yeah.
I saw
Why
that
didn't
because
we
you
ju-
posted
we
on the
could've brought-
KBC
So
about
tell
it.
us
Brought the
about
bottle.
it. And then we can,
So that let's talk about
So
the rum.
so
I
what is,
actually had a rum and a bourbon, really single barrel. That's what I was talking about with the vanilla Godzilla on the logo. But so for the rum side of it, it was actually all for a charity for the Doberman Bluegrass Doberman Foundation Rescue.
cool.
So I became friends with Turner Wathen through, and this is Rolling Fork. He was like, "Hey man, I want to donate a barrel to you." Basically, I did the whole selection thing. And I was like, well, I want to donate all the money towards bluegrass. And we did a whole event out of it, and it was fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. Raise what, like $4,500?
I was gonna ask you.
Almost $5,000. Yeah.
Do you have any bottles left?
Actually, there may still be bottles for sale at Silver Dollar. I actually do not. I only have one bottle and it's half drunk. I still need to meet up with Turner and get. I think he has a case left for me.
Nice.
So, but yeah, it's actually aged bourbon. It's like 6-year-old. Not bourbon. I'm sorry, aged rum from Dominican Republic that was aged in Woodford double oak barrels. So it's pretty tasty.
They made old fashions with it at the event. Yeah. They were really good.
I'm not a big rum. I mean, I am a rum guy, but like this is something I'm not going to drink rum straight. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
More of a mix. That's a mixing drink.
So that, like, if and when I do ever have a drink, it's not very often, but I'll run Malibu and pineapple. Like, so Malibu's rum.
A beach
so,
drink.
Yeah. I can't if I can taste the alcohol, I'm not drinking it. It's just a sissy.
So you're going to Uber here at the end of the year, and I'm going to bring Malibu and pineapple.
Oh, okay. We can do that.
Count me in.
We can do that.
By then, your Tesla might drive itself.
Yeah.
It does drive. I drove it like 40 minutes by itself to Indy 2 weeks ago.
I'd be so scared.
It was so cool. Like, it was really mentally relaxing.
Oh, I don't think I could relax.
I didn't think I would. It took me a minute. Like, it took me a minute to finally settle in and let it just go.
I saw a reel the other day where somebody was self-driving a Tesla. I think it was a Plaid that they were.
And they ran into a building?
Almost. They almost ran into a entry gate. And it's like the guy, the car didn't see it, and he like slammed on brakes, and you hear everybody in the car saying, "Oh, he didn't see it." So I'm like, I mean, but it was
look
cool.
at the fear in her eyes now.
Well, I feel like that's so many people confuse it. You still have to pay attention.
Yeah.
Like, duh, you saw it even says when you go into full self-drive, be prepared to take over at any moment. Mm-hmm. It says that in the car. And it's true. Like, it's not, at least not yet, it's not meant to be a replacement for a actual driver. But it is on long road trips. I could see how it could be very relaxing to make it a little bit easier. Because I was able to relax and just
Vegas,
let it go.
In Vegas, they have fully automated non-driving cabs.
Wow. Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
We're going in a couple of weeks. We'll have to see how that works out.
Yep.
This is why we need a train system. I'm sorry, we're definitely going on down a rabbit hole here. We just need a train system, though. I mean,
that's like in Japan. That was so nice. We literally hopped on a train. We were in Tokyo in like
an hour and a half.
Yeah, I'm surprised we don't. Anywho,
just go down 65 all the way down. Just saying.
All the other big cities have them.
Just saying.
At least to go to like
Nashville.
Indy,
I think
Chicago,
there should be one
Nashville.
from Chicago to
that
Nashville.
Would be so nice.
That'd be perfect.
Right here in Louisville, like with all the cities that you can get to, like Indy's 2 hours, Nashville's 2 hours, Cincy's an hour and a half, St. Louis is only 4.
Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Chicago's 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, so like Louisville is really centrally located. It's kind of wild. So
yeah.
Anyways, on the next podcast, we'll talk about
trains,
monorail trains.
We don't ever know what we're talking about until we get here, so we'll see. No, but really, thank you both very much.
Thanks for having us.
I'm excited for you. You're going to kill it.
You're going to hit your goal.
And my goal, we'll have a deal together this year. At some point, we're going to be across the closing table from one another.
Yeah.
And that'll be fun. So thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm going to let Jim take over with the outro because he's better at that than I am.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today on Messy Success with Tracy French and Friends. You stay classy, Louisville.
Thanks, guys.